Welcome to another edition of It's Still Real to Me, everything Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me, brought to us by the title sponsor of our program. We're talking Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733 if you're involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, slip and fall, motorcycle, car, boating accident. You got to take care of your health. You let Anidjar and Levine take in. They treat you like family the same way they've treated me with It's Still Real to Me and Zaslow Show 2.0. You're going to focus on getting healthy. They're going to get you the money that you deserve. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. Of course, our pal here is Joey Levine. We are coming at you here recording on a Saturday morning, so we're fresh off of SmackDown last night. Obviously, we have Collision tonight, but I don't think anything's going to be dated. So whenever you're listening to this, you're going to get up to speed news and information. Joey, how are you this morning? Hello.
I'm doing well. And you know what? I was thinking about this show today. We're coming up on a year of It's Still Real to Me. And I think we started in like October of last year. This is I think this is going to be a monumental episode.
Really?
I think it's the first episode since October that we're probably not going to talk about the bloodline.
Wow, you're right. You're right, because there was no bloodline
really
last night
nothing
except
to talk
for
about,
Paul
right?
Heyman saying that Jimmy's going to be on the show next week, right? That's it?
That's it.
Okay. It seems like they're giving
we're talking about him now. We're talking about him now, so I guess technically...
No, but I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts.
Yeah,
You're
there's
right.
no real bloodline topic probably for the first time since October of last year.
You're right. There you go. So I think we got a fun show planned today, and let's kick things off with what the big story is. You know, we found out early in the week that, actually we found out last week that Edge is challenging Sheamus, Toronto, SmackDown. But then early in the week, you started to get news coming out. I guess maybe Edge's trainer kind of spilled the beans where, this is going to be a retirement match. And then we learned that it's actually the final match on his current contract. So something is definitely up, So everybody knew this by the time we got to SmackDown last night. And a tremendous entrance from Edge. He's decked down in the Toronto Maple Leafs colors in the white and blue with his gear. He's super fired up. And then once he comes around to the ring, and he comes down onto the hard camera side, which is always where friends and family sit, ringside, and you got Beth Phoenix and his two kids. Maybe that was his father that he hugged as well at first. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but you had Beth Phoenix and the two kids, and Beth is like already in tears. I mean, she was in tears the whole match. And so once you see Beth Phoenix is in tears, it's like, oh, this is definitely something that is happening here. And if I could just, I love Beth Phoenix, and I loved her the entire match last night. I love that they had the camera on her off and on. I love when pro wrestling and real emotions intersect. And you had that all throughout the match last night with Beth Phoenix. And she's been so good about that in all the behind the scenes clips over the last few years since Edge returned, where if you remember when Edge returned at the Royal Rumble, what was it, 2020, right, when Drew McIntyre won, right before the pandemic. And they're doing the behind the scenes 24/7, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And you see Beth, as Edge makes his entrance, she's crying, watching it in the back, because she knows how important it is. And I thought I think behind the scenes, and even when they did the mixed tag match, I think she's been such a star alongside him these last few years. Such a star. And I loved her last night. I thought it was a major part of the match last night. Her emotion. And there was one moment late in the match, like, who knows if she knows what the finish is going to be. I choose to believe she didn't know what the finish was going to be. But there's one moment in the match where it looked like Sheamus was going to win. He hit him with, one move, I don't know the name of it, and then followed it up with the bro kick. It was especially devastating of a combo. And, that match was over, man. And he goes for the pin, and Edge kicks out. And then they show Beth Phoenix, and she was like she gave a reaction that was like, I'm so glad it's not over yet. She knew it was ending, but he's not done yet, you know? And then it got to a point with me watching at home where, man, can he win this match? Because we're all expecting him to lose. We know the way it goes. You know, you lose looking up, your career ends looking up at the lights. You know, we all know the way you're supposed to pass it on to the next guy at the end of your career. We're all expecting Edge to lose this match. And then I start thinking, I'm like, can he possibly win? And then he gets the spear in a couple minutes later, gets the 1, 2, 3. I yelped from the couch. I never, yes, like just, I yelped I was so happy that he won. And I feel like, okay, maybe it is his final match. We don't know for sure. It's definitely his final match in Toronto. He made that clear after the night. But maybe it's
for WWE.
Well, we'll get to that. Maybe it's his final match. I don't know. But I kind of like that if it is his final match, I think it's okay to make an exception once in a while. Like, so he goes out a winner. Who does it hurt? You know, doesn't hurt Sheamus, you know? So I loved that match. I loved everything about it last night.
Well, yeah. So a couple things you said. One, the Beth Phoenix thing. Now, regardless of whether her emotions were real or whether or not she's a sports entertainer and she's playing the gimmick, right, of the distraught wife, because she's obviously very good at that because that's her job.
I choose to believe it's real.
Regardless, well, yeah, it's still real. I mean, it's still real to both of us. But regardless of what it is, having her there, like going into last night, I was like, this is not Edge's last match. There's no way. To me, it was like this. Edge's last match is not on a week's notice against Sheamus on a throwaway SmackDown.
But it's Toronto.
Really, I know, but I didn't think going into last night, and I'm still not sure whether it's his last match in Toronto or ever or whatever. But having Beth there and cutting to her and having her such a big part of the match, to your point, I think made it feel very real, like it was his last match. So regardless of whatever her emotions were, kudos to them on even just having that part of it, because that made it feel very real.
It was a major part of the match.
Yeah. Now, in terms of nobody thought Edge was going to win that match, I didn't think he was actually retiring. So I didn't know what to think about that match, which is good. Like, obviously, if he would have lost that match, I'd be like, damn, it is over. Like, this is it. Like, that's usually the definitive, like, oh, he's, you know, that's him, you know, paying it back to the business or whatever, putting someone over. But also, like, Sheamus doesn't need to get put over. Like, you know, so there's like these little things where I'm like, I don't really know what to think, sort of to your point. Is he really retiring? Is he not retiring? Yes. After the match, he did say, this will be the last time you guys see me here. Which is very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. But that also means to me the door is still wide open. Like I have very little doubt in my mind Edge is wrestling again. Where and when and how, I don't know. I don't think. And then also the show last night was not a retirement celebration. It was a celebration. It was a 25th anniversary. I also think if it was his retirement, WWE would have called it his retirement. Like if it was truly decided this is his last match ever.
I think he doesn't know.
Okay.
I think he doesn't know.
I mean, that's fair. But I think the biggest key on all of this is what you said at the beginning, last match on his contract.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot there. And I think I actually think he knows. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know anybody in the business. I don't know anything. I don't think his decision is whether is whether or not he's wrestling again.
You're wondering whether or not he's going to be at All In.
No, not at All In. No.
Okay.
No. But AEW for sure.
Because people are talking about that, right? That he's going to be at All In, which I think is nuts.
Christian's not even at All In.
Nuts.
So what? First of all, okay. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but if he's going to AEW, it's to do something with Christian. Like, he's not going there just to challenge Kenny Omega. I mean, it's like, what? No, if he's going to do one last run with Christian. Christian's not even on All In. So
yeah,
that seems wildly, like, he was on SmackDown the other day. Now his contract is just all, I'm sure he has a non-compete for a little bit. Like, even if
there's likely a non-compete. Yeah.
He can't a week later just show up in AEW. So that's crazy. That being said, I think his decision is probably more like, do I come back for one last run and have a WrestleMania moment potentially, or do I go to AEW and do one last run with Christian where the Hardys are already there? You know,
I mean, the Hardys' corpses are there. Okay.
Right? The Dudleys, hey, Bubba stays in shape. Devon's still out there. Like, hey, I've seen a lot of people talking about
Bubba works with Impact. I mean, he's got a good gig.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, for one last match, one last TLC match, you know, half of the components of that match are already in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So if Edge is like, hey, I want to do one last run and I want to give the people this one last nostalgic moment with Christian,
I don't like it.
The Hardys. I could see that being a thing he does.
I
could certainly see him going, because Christian's not going back to WWE. By the way, Christian's one of the best things in AEW right now. So he's not going anywhere.
Right.
But if this is really the moment where Edge is like getting ready to retire, I could certainly see him at least considering, I want to go do something with Christian before I retire.
But what do you think means more? Going to do something with Christian again before he retires and trying to recreate that magic, or going out at WrestleMania in Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40? I mean, isn't being at WrestleMania one more time so much bigger than another run with Christian? No disrespect, but another run with Christian at 50 years old?
I don't think so.
Isn't going out at WrestleMania. And by the way, I do think there is something to the legacy of being just a WWE guy. Shawn Michaels has that. Undertaker has that. Randy Orton's going to have that. Rock has that. You're throwing that away if you're Edge. Now, maybe that's not something that's important to him. I think there's something to that, where you were just a WWE, you know, you're Kobe Bryant or you're Reggie Miller, you're Dirk Nowitzki. You only play with one team. I think there's something to that, man.
Totally. I agree. I do agree. I do agree. I think there is something to him being a WWE guy. And because of that, I just, like, I don't know where WWE's head is at with that. But I would imagine, like, even Vince and Triple H are probably like, we don't want to see you go over there. But man, as great as Edge has been, and I'm actually interested because I want to know, like, where you put him all time. But as great as he's been as a singles competitor, and as great as his career has been, it's Edge and Christian, man. It's Edge and Christian, and like, he had to.
I don't think I see it that way.
I mean, regardless of what you think, like, the biggest moments in his career are split. Like, he has great singles moments, but also the biggest moments of his career come as Edge and Christian.
But don't you think if the biggest moments of your career are split between tag team and singles, that you would give the edge then to the singles run? If they're split, if it's 50-50, like, maybe would the edge then be to the singles run? Because the world champion.
Maybe yes, but like, these guys are like brothers. I mean, they came up in the industry and they became arguably a top 10 tag team of all time. And they have some of the most memorable moments in the history of the business together. And if I'm Edge, I'm thinking, like, all right, I retired in 2011 because of my injury. And before that, I had how many years as a singles competitor, right? So it's probably been 15 years since I had a run with Christian. I never thought in 2023 there was any chance that at 50 years old, there would be an opportunity for me and Christian to work together again, where we're both healthy and we're both doing good things, and I can retire after doing one more run with Christian. I don't know that ever could have processed in his mind as a possibility. So, like, just me personally, if I'm getting ready to be done, I would have to consider that, where it's like, I haven't worked with him really worked with him in almost like probably 10, 15 years, whatever it is.
Yep.
At least over 10 years. There's a chance it's on the table. And I think that's why the contract thing is such a big deal. It's not like this is my last match. This is my last match on my contract. Makes it such a big deal because it's like, yeah, maybe he's deciding whether he wants to retire or not. But more so, it just strikes me as he's deciding what he actually wants to do. Because if he is retiring, I think, yeah, you do a WrestleMania moment and you bring in.
I would hope so.
Maybe him, and I don't know who you have. I don't know if you have him go against, but I just don't think Edge versus Sheamus on SmackDown is the way Edge goes out. I just don't. He's so big. I mean, he's so big to the industry. It just seems it was they did it well. The show was great. The match was great. It just doesn't seem the moments that Edge has had. This wouldn't even be in the top 10.
Speaking of which, you put together a top 5 all-time Edge moments here?
I did. And I think I always fall into this because, recency bias and whatnot. But I think at least at number 1, I have a little bit of recency bias. But
all right, let's do it. No, countdown 5 to 1 for dramatic purposes.
Right. And I do have some honorable mentions, but number 5, live sex on TV. Edge, Lita celebrating Edge's first WWE title win. Live sex in a bed in a ring on WWE TV.
Unbelievable.
Number 4, Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22 in the hardcore match. Edge spears Foley into the flaming table. Amazing.
Foley doesn't like the match.
I mean, yeah.
He thought it was he.
Well, he didn't like himself in the match, right?
Yeah,
he felt like he wasn't in shape, and Edge had to carry it. Yeah, I know he's talked about that, but it was great. That spot is historic.
Yeah.
And all right, so number 3, first ever Money in the Bank cash in on Cena, and Vince coming out and saying, Edge
is using his money in the bank privilege.
Yep. WrestleMania 17.
It's so great how it's grown from that moment. It's so much better that it's a surprise the way it is now.
And the funny thing is, like, he became the ultimate opportunist off of that one, but then it became this thing where people just like literally run in and don't say anything.
Right. But it's also such a great visual too, because as the cage is being lifted, you got Cena's just a bloody mess as it's being announced. Really great scene.
Number 2, we got WrestleMania 17, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2, specifically the spear. He breaks Jeff Hardy. He broke him in half.
And maybe the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Yep. And then 1 for me, the return at the Rumble 2020. I mean, I'm just a sucker for those types of things, especially as we seem to be moving away from surprises at Rumbles anymore, right? Like, is that the last big surprise we're ever going to see? Because no one knew. I don't think it was like a known thing, right? Like, and
we can't guess it. If there's going to be a better surprise, it's going to be impossible for us to guess. That's the whole point, right?
Right. But I'm just saying, like, the last 3 years, it seems like we know, like they tend to announce like 28 or 29 guys before the match even begins. And then there hasn't been any big surprises the last couple of years. Not that I can remember. I mean, so, and I just don't know. And you just have to, like, you could see, I rewatched it again this morning.
I mean, someone like Mercedes Moné would be like a really big thing.
But bigger than Edge? I mean, yes, it would be big in the context of him. Right. Yeah. No. But like coming back after retiring, the injury, you could see. And then Edge has always been so good at this, but you could see.
Or when Bryan Danielson one day returns to WWE.
That would be huge. Or Punk, which would be insane. When he comes out, he's like holding back tears. Like you could see he's like in shock. He's in shock that he's even there.
Yep.
Which adds to the moment.
He was very overwhelmed.
I'm a sucker for those emotional moments in wrestling where like, and you never thought you'd see it. And so to me, that was one. It might be a controversial number 1, but like
it might be a controversial number 5.
What, the sex celebration?
The live sex.
It's a major
I know it's
moment.
a major moment. I know it's a major.
Do you want my honorable mentions?
Sure.
the first ever tag win with Christian at WrestleMania 2000, which was or not 2000. Was it 2000? Whatever.
No, they won in 2000. They did.
That's right. The triangle tag match where I just like the shot of them.
And it was the first ever triangle tag tables.
Triangle
ladders, chairs.
Ladder. No, it was called a triangle ladder match, and then they moved on to
but it was the first ever triangle match like that. Yeah.
And them standing on the tables with
when they get the belts. Yep.
When they get the belts.
That's
cool.
A good one.
That was a cool spot. Edge, first time he ever main evented Mania versus Taker at WrestleMania 22.
Yeah, that's good shit.
And then this is not like the best moment.
What about when he tagged with Sable?
His retirement was his first, like when he first retired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anybody ever like having an impact like that with their retirement. Like I feel like that was like a first
of its crying in the ring and giving up the belt.
Yeah, and then going out and do it. He's like, "Let me do this one more time," and he left. And then they played the music, and he ran into the ring again. Remember that? Like that. Yeah. That was fun. I mean, if you're gonna have a retirement because of an injury, that's the way to do it. Like that moment will always stick out to me, even though it's not like a great moment. It was like a big moment. So.
Mm-hmm. He had a great return, man. If this is it for him, the 3 years,
him and Randy Orton had the greatest match in wrestling history.
Greatest match ever. All right.
Yeah, that's what
the greatest match ever. And they also had like the boiler room brawl, whatever, a street fight. Is that what they called it with him and Randy? The first of those matches.
Yeah.
And this match with Sheamus was great. You had the mixed tag with Beth Phoenix, which I thought was very, very good. The Judgment Day stuff fell short because it definitely wasn't what they, had originally set out for it to be. Although maybe you want to give them credit because you look at Judgment Day now, and I think it's bigger than anyone thought it was ever going to be. And Edge was right there at the very start. So maybe you want to give him some credit for that. But overall, and of course, he main evented WrestleMania with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and that match was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. Where do you put him? Like, it's the weird thing to me is like 25 years. He's done so many things. He's incredible. I mean, he's like universally loved in wrestling, which is rare, I think. I mean, I think even like the best guys, if you go on the cesspool of wrestling,
right?
Twitter,
Nobody's like,
that people will shit on even the best guys,
right?
Like, I think he's pretty much universal. I don't think you'll ever find somebody who's like, no, I don't like Edge.
Yeah, right.
But that doesn't put him like. I mean, that still doesn't put him like top 5. Is he top 10?
No, he's not even top 10. I think maybe you make a case he's top 20.
Oh, come on.
There's a lot of guys.
I know there's a lot of guys, but he's been so good.
There's a lot of guys.
I know that. That's why it's crazy to me, because there are a lot of guys. There aren't a lot of guys WWE would treat this way at the end. There aren't.
Now we're talking all time or just WWE?
WWE. Well, he's only been in WWE.
No, but okay, so you don't want to include. Okay, so okay,
let's just say WWE. Let's just say WWE since he's only been in WWE.
But we're also talking about guys who've been WWE and other places, right?
Yes.
All right, I mean, let's do it, man. Stone Cold, you stop me when they're not better than Edge, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan, Dusty Rhodes.
That's debatable.
Okay, that's one that's debatable.
Daniel Bryan.
Okay, I'll take him off. Forget it. I'll give you.
But I'm just saying. I'm just going to say. I'm just going to make the argument. Daniel Bryan had a good run.
Okay.
Edge had a career.
Yeah, Edge's talking a quarter century.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take him off. That's 6. Who did I just say? Dusty Rhodes. Okay.
But in WWE though.
Oh no, so we're talking about specifically Dusty's WWE run then?
Yeah, let's just talk about WWE runs.
Okay.
Or just WWE career.
Okay, fine. All right, so I'm still at 6.
Because Dusty.
Okay, that's fine. Triple H.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, so I'm at 7 now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Hogan, Savage.
Yeah. Hogan, Savage.
So that's
9. Are we gonna go Andre? Was his run WWE good enough?
I think he probably. Yeah, I think
historically he's got to be ahead of him. Historically,
you probably have to.
So it's 10.
Mm-hmm. Angle.
Kurt Angle. Yep. That one's close, but yes, I do.
Those are close. That's a close one. Now we're getting into
but I believe
the debatable title.
So that's 11.
Mm-hmm.
We're already past top 10 for sure. So that's 11. Randy Orton, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Cena.
All right. Cena, 13. We're going to get close to 20. 13.
Although, I guess with Orton, could you... No, it's probably Orton. Yeah, it's Orton.
Jericho's ahead of him.
Yeah, Jericho.
That's 14 now we're at. We're going to get close to 20. I mean, got to think about it, but we're going to get close. I don't have him ahead of Kane. I mean, I have him ahead of Kane.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Yeah. Batista? I think Edge is ahead of Batista.
I think Edge is ahead of Batista.
I think he's ahead of Batista. Rey Mysterio? I think he's ahead of Rey Mysterio.
Those are probably debatable, depending on who you are, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody put Rey ahead of him, but I think it's Edge.
I would not put Rey ahead of him. Are you putting Punk ahead of him? No.
Punk had a good run.
Yeah,
but again,
it's not a quarter century. It's not
same thing with Daniel Bryan. Like, good run, but not Edge.
Diesel? No.
No.
Razor Ramon?
No.
Okay.
Warrior?
No. I mean, you got to think about it for a second, but no.
I mean, because we're not even talking about like most of the 90s, right? We're talking about a lot of more recent.
I haven't given you very much of golden era.
Yeah. Like Piper.
Piper's ahead of him. It's got to be.
Is he? I mean, he didn't really do any. I mean, he was a great heel, but he didn't really have like title runs. And I mean, he was Intercontinental title,
but a major role in the first 6 WrestleManias. He was the main event in WrestleMania 1.
I think you could easily make an argument either way. I'll put it that way. I think you can make the argument.
If you're going Piper, that would be 15.
Right.
It's getting tough now. So I think he's somewhere between 15 and 20 for sure.
Okay, that's fair. And I think there's probably an argument to be made that some of those guys in the 10 to 15 range, you could probably, you could make an argument either way. I think the guys that the first like 9 or no, because we had like Orton and Cena in 12 and 13. So you can't make a debate there. But I think like
so hard to be top 10 or 15. So hard.
Yeah. And by the way, we're just talking WWE, right?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about guys that had runs elsewhere that
I'm not giving you Dusty or Sting
Steamboat.
Or even Steamboat, Terry Funk. We're not even talking about those.
Mick Foley. He's ahead of him. Gotta be, right?
Probably.
No, he is. I think
yeah.
He was like a catalyst of the Attitude Era. I mean, he was
being top 20 is not a slight.
No, not at all. But that's what it was so remarkable to me when I was watching last night. I was like, they're doing this for a guy who is incredible and has been a staple of the company, but like, he's not even like, on some people's list, he might not even be top 20. Like it's amazing what he's done.